Alright, so welcome back to our final video on learn Django by creating an AlgoExpert clone. So today we will briefly talk about testing, and then we will probably not write actual tests, but we'll briefly talk about testing, and then we're actually going to deploy this application to Heroku. A quick disclaimer: I already deployed this application to Heroku. If you have been to like AlgoExpertClone.HerokuApp.com, this is exactly the app, the web app that's we're trying to mimic. The reason I deployed it earlier, because this is my first time to actually deploy a Django application, and then from reading some like how to deploy a Django application to Heroku, it's fairly complicated. I just want to make sure that no errors come out, so I just deploy it. There is a really great Medium article you can follow. I will link it down to the description below. If you haven't, please comment below and remind me. Alright, so that's 1 minute's intro. And then here is our app. So this is an AlgoExpert clone. Just in case you never visited AlgoExpert before. AlgoExpert is a platform to prepare you for your coding interview. You can go origin the site, which is located at algoexpert.io. And then, if I could, okay. So now I think you cannot really see it. So on the right hand side, what you should see is screen, which is like the main application, like the home page. It's not like as beautiful as the AlgoExpert, but it does original, but it does have some core features. So first is register/login. We'll click on that link, which you should redirect to a page like this. Whoops. Just a sec. I don't know why this is not working. Alright, I'm not sure can you guys see it now. I hope you guys can. So now this is like it prompts you to log in, sign in to GitHub, and then I can put my username and password so I can sign in. And then you will see if you're using two-factor authentication, you will get a message like this. And then just receive a message, authentication code, and then we'll redirect our main application like this. And now you should see something like this. It's have a lot of stuff on the right hand corner. You can see a logout, your avatar, and then you can see welcome, my username, and then there is also a thing called you don't own AlgoExpert. So how do we own an actual AlgoExpert? Well, before we do that, let's just go to problems really quick. Now you can see there's two kind of questions. There is an nth Fibonacci question, and then there's a palindrome checker. And then you can see I cannot visit palindrome checker. And then despite if I go navigate to the URL manually, you can see purchase it before access this question. So how do I, whoops. Excuse me, spoiler alert. So how do I actually access this question? Well, I have to pay, which you can see purchase here. And then you can see accept a card payment. I don't have a price. I don't know why I don't have a price. The price is like $99. So if I just put a dummy credit card there, I click on the pay, you'll see payment succeeded. You don't have to ignore, you just ignore the message, and then now you don't have to log out. And now you can see if I now get back to home page, and then you can see it said welcome boy on 12, you own AlgoExpert clone. Now you can go to problems, and you can see now I have access to palindrome checker. So that's about the purchase stuff. And then you can notice that when you complete a question, you will see a complete in a parenthesis, but you still can access to this question. This is like the minimum coding interface. This is like it auto save your code. It doesn't auto save your code. It saves your code once you click on the check code button. And then you can see there is stuff on the left side. Write a program to compute nth number of a Fibonacci number sequence, starting numbers, example input and output, and note. I don't know why sometimes it causes recursion error. it shouldn't, because the max number is 15. I don't know why sometimes it does that. And then unless 15 is already like more than 1,000 in the ratio, which I will take a look. And then you can see there's also video walkthrough, which is actually made. I'm not sure is this YouTube channel owned by Clement Mihalescu, which is a co-founder for the original AlgoExpert. And then, but this is a video that he made, which I embedded here. You can watch if you want to. And then, you can also notice that we have a check code. Now you can also see add a raw output, which basically directly shows the standout stuff. So basically, if I just say print, I can say for I in range of 10, print out I, which should print out 0 to 9. And then if I click on the check code, you can do definitely fill out the test case, because I didn't even have a function. This is properly defined. But then you can scroll down, you can see the stuff actually print out there. And then you can try to figure out how to solve this based on the bug. And then you can use Clement's, obviously, if you want to, solutions right there, video walkthrough. And then now if I go to problems 2, which is the palindrome checker, if I input the correct thing, which if I type the correct solution, correct fib. So I'm gonna put correct, whoops, that's correct fib, correct palindrome. And then if I put it here, you can see it's really minimalistic. Really, it don't even have a syntax highlighting and not even a line number, but it does support tab. I mean, that's good. And then palindrome. And then if I say check code there, you can see now I passed all the test case, which I don't know why it only has 7, it's supposed to have 9, but it's fine. So now if we navigate back to the home page, problems, now you can see this test is also get completed. That's about everything now we have in our AlgoExpert clone. So we could write some tests to test it as well, but I'm not, as I said, will not really write some tests, because I really hope you two can able to practice. But I will add some tests eventually if I want to this AlgoExpert clone. We have a lot of stuff there. And then I will briefly go over the code we did. The reason I'm doing this overview, because I know when I explain it, when I try to rewatch my video, I find it's really hard to follow, because I don't really know what I'm doing either, so I cannot possibly explain to you guys. But now, since we are finished, I will do a brief explanation about everything, you see. So let me, everything we did. And then there will be some security issue, which if you want to help me to fix, feel free to create a pull request. Alright, so alright, so this is, let me go ahead and resize it a little bit. Alright, so this is our AlgoExpert clone, and that I will go. There is 3 app, API, code editor, and main. This is a project API AlgoExpert clone, and then so if we go ahead and go to main and then some views there, what we can see is this is basically handles like all the GitHub authentication. We have OS ID, OS secret. And we have a Stripe API key set up there. And then you can see this is like all the GitHub thing. GitHub and Stripe. This is basically the main part. And then, yeah, so this is basically what happened in main. And then what I also want to talk about is actually index.html, which is surprisingly quite complicated to do, because this is a single page application. This is really a single page application, and then so we click it, just so it just showed the corresponding components there. But yeah, so This is how it works. Problems, yep. So you can see the problems. And then this is JavaScript. So we interact with the built-in API/problems there. And then you can see we got some Django or Django's template language syntax there. And then some of the dummy HTML content. And then now let's move on to probably most hardest part of all, the code editor. So if you go to code editor, you will see this takes in about 123 lines of code. I would say that's not a lot because I've written an application like 1,000 lines of code, but this is really fairly complicated to do. But if you but really the most interesting line out of all is actually this out and then stand out standard. This two is the most interesting line because this can help us to be able to actually run bash script and get the output from that bash script. Bash just is your terminal language most likely, and then we can later format this, see how many test cases they pass, and then stand out standard. Of course. Oh, okay, probably somewhere in input is wrong. Okay, well, and then now what we can do. So this is basically what happening when it's here, and then you can see I added some custom security checking. So basically, I check is this HTML refer is from my base URL, which right now is set to my localhost. I will later change to the Heroku, and then we also have a token there, which automatically generate every time we'll try to access it, and then yeah. Alright, so that's about like how we actually do the processing. Basically, we actually go bash script, get the output, and then process it a little bit. Alright, and now last app is our API, the API. So we have our problems API there, which you can see it's really have five keys, which is ID, title, description, starter code, and paid. So does the user have to be paid to view this problem? So for example, if you want to add another problem, let's just say we can say like river sizes. So we can say river sizes, and then this is so we don't have category implemented. If you want to, you can implement the category. So you can say check for river size, and then you can put some starter code there. So we can say like river size, and then I'm not sure what will be the input. We're just going to say input is n, and then you can write some custom input there. You can use \n for new line, \t for a new tab, and then paid is true. So now if I try to navigate back to the problems, if I try to navigate back to the problems, well, so what you see is like we have a new problem set up. Whoops. Okay, well, you can see we have a new river size problem, and then you can see, whoops, I don't know why it says sum it up, but probably because check for river size. I don't know why it says sum it up really. It's supposed to say something like river size or something like that. I don't know, but well, that's probably a bug. You can see we have lots of bug when I do some overviews there. But I will try to fix this. But if you guys want to, feel free to open an issue, and I will take a look at that. So this is basically the problems API that we are doing, and then probably because I actually tried this before, restoring database somehow. Oh yeah, storing database. Oh yeah, because storing the database somehow. Yeah, because storing database. I have problem 3 set up. So if I change it to a problem 4, let's do that. So probably I can just create a, just duplicate this. So yeah, I realize I actually have a problem size 3 and then probably still storing the database. And then now if you go take a look at that, you can see now we have check for Riverside and Riverside there. You can write custom tests for that. Yeah, so that's about everything we did. So that's really it of this AlgoExpert clone. And then what I hope you learn from this series is really, I hope programming just let you know that everything that you use looks like so simple, like even just flip an image or compile some code. It's really hard on work to underneath the hood. Who knows how many, well, and then especially the dependencies we're using, which is mainly is a Django. Django is really fairly complex, and I hope you get a sense of what it look like for using Flask and Django. Difference between them, similarity between them, which would you prefer? I will personally prefer Flask with the customizability, and then, but yeah, that's about it. So, I said I will briefly mention testing. So testing is a way to detect whether is our application work the way that we want intended to be. Notice that we have a test up on each app, which you can start write your own app. But I will not write some tests for right now. But probably I will write some tests eventually on the GitHub repository. So stay tuned for that. Basically, you're just going to use some test case. It's similar to how we test a Flask application. But Django is really good because it can initialize a brand new database for testing, and then later destroy that database. Alright, so now what we'll talk about is how do we actually deploy this application to Heroku. So to deploy this to Heroku, first you need to make sure you have a dependency set up. Okay, so you need following installed. You need to have a Heroku account, which if you don't have one, you can create an account at Heroku.com. I don't think I need this code editor anymore, but I cannot figure out how to turn it off. Okay, there we go. Okay, so to you can go to Heroku.com. First is go to Heroku.com, and then go to Heroku.com, and then you can sign up for an account there. So you can click on the login or sign up. I'm going to click on the login since I already have an account. Login with my account. And you can see I already have a AlgoExpert clone set up there. And you can see we will use Postgres. I don't want to have two things here. I don't want to have two. But we'll use Postgres. So what we will do is you can create a new app. I recommend to create a new app here. It's easier to use a GUI, at least for me. And now let's go back to our code. So once you have that set up, you're all set. So now the first thing is go ahead and type pip or pip3 install Django-Heroku, and if you haven't, Gunicorn as well. So you could type following the terminal. I'm going to make terminal bigger. So what you could type is pip or pip3 pip install or pip3 install Django-Heroku and Gunicorn as well. And once you have that set up, then first is make sure you have Django you obviously need to Django install because this is a Django application. You will see also have another dependency installed. It's called white noise. This is for simplified static file serving. And then we also have a DJ-database-URL. This is basically utilize our Django database URL environment variable, stuff like that. And then lastly is the JUnit port for a whiskey application. And you can start a project, run server. I'm following a document right now. It's not. I will link this media article into the description below. So first, let's go ahead and configure how our application is. So now let's go to settings.py for your app, which should be in your project, and settings here. And then in here, what you can do is make sure you import at the top, import Django Heroku, and then import DJ_database_URL. And then now at the very bottom, type this line. You need to have this to like initialize all the settings that we need. And then now let's go ahead and configure the white noise as we set for the static hosting, which is going to be installed in our app. And then you can see the position must be exactly where it's supposed to be. So white noise static files. So as you can see, just above Django.contrib.static files, add this white noise.run server_no static, this app. And then in the middleware section, just above, Django.contrib.sessions.middleware.session middleware, or just under Django.middleware.security, under the security middleware thing, type this white noise.middleware.white noise middleware there. And then at the very and also at the bottom, make sure you have these following defined: static URL, which is just static root, should be by the default, should be set up for you. And then this line, you probably need to add this static file storage. And then next, let's configure the database configuration, which is first you need to import this module. DJ_database_URL, and then right under the database dictionary. So right under this dictionary object, right under this database, add db_from_im equals DJ-database_URL.config, and then we can say database-default.update db from inv. And then now in the proc file, in here, which is always you always need this. You can just type web-unicorn AlgoExpert clone.whiskey. I don't know, is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? And now, let's see. So now what you can do is git remote. Now in the terminal, type git remote. Actually no, it's Heroku git. Let's see, how does that work? Git remote. I think it's add your app name there, something like that. I'm not sure. But what you can also do is git remote add Heroku. I will put the documentation down below as well. It's really complicated. In fact, it's much complicated than the deploy of the Flask application. And then now, almost there. So in the settings.py, we're gonna go back to settings.py. And notice that we have right at the top, it says, I think, yes, a load host. Make sure you put your, this is your app name, and then it's always .herokuapp.com. Make sure you put that here so they actually can do it. And then now what we'll do is create a .gitignore file. So this will ignore the corresponding file. So as you can see, I try to ignore all the PyCache, but I don't think it's successful. And all the Python compiled, and our solution.py, which is not necessary, and the db.sqlite3. we will see now, hey, if I ignore this file from Git, how suppose it's know where the database comes in? Well, now here's what you will do. You'll type the following command in your terminal. It's called Heroku add-ons create space Heroku Postgresql hobby dev. So this basically create an add-on. Whoops, you guys cannot even see it. My bad. It's right here. Heroku add-ons create Postgresql hobby dev. And now, once you have that set up, what you can run is now we need to go ahead and migrate all the information to the Heroku, stuff like that. Wait, oh shoot, I think I might forget. Okay, the first thing you actually need to do is make sure login. So you can type Heroku login to log into account, and then what you can type now is git comment with your message. Make sure I get installed as well. Your message, I can say deploy to Heroku. And then now what we can do is git push Heroku master. And then let's go ahead, wait a sec for it to build the source. Sorry about that. So from cache, blah, blah, blah. So after we got that set up, what we could run is go ahead and create the PostgreSQL database. This is a database that we will use. Let's just give it a sec. Alright, so it says finish, release. Hopefully you don't see an error. If you do see an error, make sure to have a requirements.txt as well, which should include the following contents: Django, and then I used request and term. You don't have to include term color if you didn't use it. In request, we use Stripe, obviously for the purchase, Unicorn, and Django Heroku. So have that set up. And then now what you can run is the add-on, and then you can now migrate your database. So you can type this Heroku run Python manage.pymigrate. Will migrate your local database to the PostgreSQL on the Heroku cloud. And then now you can actually type any commands using Heroku run. Right? Yeah. And then lastly, we can create a super user, but we don't have to do that. It's really complicated. Sorry if I didn't explain it well. I will link the WordDrive document Medium article into the description below. And please remind me if I haven't. I really want to give this great author some credits. Alright. Now if everything's successful, we should get the database set up, migrate the database. And now if you go ahead with it, AlgoExpert clone.herokuapp.com. And then we should see something like this. Alright, but we actually have one more thing we need to do, is we need to go to GitHub. And then in there, we'll click on your little profile image on the right. And then in here, click on settings. And then at the bottom, click on developer settings. And then click on the OAuth app. And then click on this. Okay, it should be like AlgoExpert clone GitHub OAuth. And then now we need to change its authorization callback URL to our Heroku URL. So we'll say AlgoExpert clone.herokuapp.com. Update our application. And now let's go do some testing. How about that? See, can we log in? Let's just try, can we log in? So if we click on the register /login, and now indeed we logged in, and now you can see welcome, but I'm 12 don't own AlgoExpert. I can try to purchase it using a fake credit card. This is probably, and then yep, so we can run 4242. Whoops. Paid, and now it's fine. We don't have to log out. I didn't change that message. And now you can see your own AlgoExpert. And then if you go to problems, our problems unlocked, palindrome checker, and then you can see this is like the basic starter code. And then if I try to check code, oops, I don't want to skip undefined there. Okay, probably there's some secure. Oh yeah, the base URL. I forgot to do the base URL thing. Well, I guess that's about it. I forgot to do the base URL. Go ahead to fix that for the security purpose. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this series, please make sure to show me some love. If I love you, like this video and subscribe. Appreciate everyone who subscribed to me. This period is actually the fastest growing period I ever have. For you to share this, but that's the last, probably the Django tutorial. So I will briefly talk about the plan also, in case someone of you, in case you guys ask. So I will talk back to JavaScript, and then we'll start talk about Node and React, some frameworks, Vue and Angular, and then eventually we're going to talk about full stack JavaScript. And then we'll build some application from that. And yeah, that's my plan for now. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day.